Good night. Welcome to another episode of Pursuit. I know things look a little different. Ash is in the middle. We also have a guest, a special guest. There's no Kevin. You're welcome. No, I'm kidding. But tonight we have Remy. We're going to do a special episode tonight of Girl Chat, Girl Talk, but still keeping the focus of mental health awareness, as is May. But before we start, we can't have a comfy girl chat without snacks, right? Mm-hmm. So each of us has picked a snack to represent a color in the rainbow. We're talking about the basic Roy G. Biv. Yes. Let's see what we have. All right, let's start with the R in Roy. The R. All right, what's everyone's red?
This is my red.
I brought spicy nacho Doritos because they're better than the regular nacho, in my opinion.
I got Cheez-Its.
I have strawberries frozen, fresh, in white and milk chocolate. So chocolate-covered strawberries.
All right, red, orange. What's our O? Oh. I thought you got the goldfish. I didn't want to say it in the chat because I had already gotten goldfish.
No, because I didn't want to get goldfish because I got Cheez-Its.
I got
but then these are cheddar, so.
And then you got...
I got Cheetos, but the healthier Cheetos.
Organic.
Yeah, they're organic because, they were out of stock.
I've never heard of a grocery store being out of stock of Cheetos.
I know.
That's the weirdest thing. All right, yellow. I got lemonade Capri Sun.
This is yellow-green.
I got popcorn.
I wasn't sure if anyone was getting drinks, so I got lemonade. Mm-hmm. All right. Red, orange, yellow, green. Jalapeno chips. Ooh, applesauce.
Applesauce.
I love applesauce. Chips, and then blue.
Blue. Oh, my blue's in the freezer. I got ice cream.
Ice cream sandwiches. I got Rice Krispies.
Rice Krispies.
Covered pretzels.
Dope.
I like it.
Love it. And then we're gonna do indigo and violet together because I don't really know the difference other than it's a cross color between purple and blue. I got Mamba Magic Sticks.
I got Takis and first.
It's in the freezer.
The purple?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're gonna start from purple because Asher wants me to try the Takis.
Do you think that they're hot?
Yeah, I think they can be. No, I think they are.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you do spice well?
I mean, I like curry chicken.
First of all.
Chicken.
It's curry chicken. You got it right.
First of all, you
got it right.
Don't bring it to me. Bring it to my husband. He calls it curry chicken.
He is also he's a teacher and he's wrong.
He is correct.
Not for the region that he originates from.
He knows what's up.
We're starting with purple.
We're starting with purple. Okay.
So these sticks aren't actually purple. It was just the bag.
Oh, okay.
All right. These are my purples.
Ooh. Oh, I think I know what these are.
I've never seen these before.
They're like...
I've never had these.
They feel like Tootsie Rolls?
Yeah, I think like it's a cross between a Tootsie Roll and a Starburst.
Ah.
But like, I'm pretty sure this is a Mexican candy.
I think Mambas are, I don't know, don't quote me on that. Let me read it. Ooh, it says they're new.
They're quite tasty.
Ooh, I like these.
It tastes like, the little cups with the jelly that has the little square bits of fruits in them?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
You get it like
exactly.
That's accurate, yeah.
That's what it tastes like.
That's exactly what this tastes like.
That's fantastic.
Okay, Takis.
Okay.
Very excited for these. Ma'am?
Okay.
They're very vibrant in color.
They are.
Do you know what? I'm not a fan of the lime with the heat.
Really?
That's why I've never liked them.
Oh my. Okay. All right, let's see.
Is it hot?
But like
good? Good hot?
not at all a good hot.
wasn't worth the calories.
Oh, no, not worth the calories. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's intense. For those of you that eat bags and bags of these, I commend you. I don't know how, because I just had a bite of a half and I'm dying.
It's a good thing you have your drink.
I know, but I can't even put this down anywhere. We have Clorox wipes. I can't.
Yeah, we'll clean it up after. What was your purple? Oh, the fruit cups.
Yes, the fruit cups, which have gone missing.
Yeah, I don't know where they went.
So, unless we want to take a swig of jelly, maybe just
All right, what was it? Blue. Rice
Blue.
Krispie treats.
Oh, I love those.
I haven't had a Rice Krispie treat in so. I should have got the ones with the chocolate chunk.
Yes, my blue is the ice cream. I have little ice cream sandwiches.
Thank you.
Bam. Oh,
I got it.
thank you, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. These are quite yummy.
Do you guys want pretzels?
Gracias. Oh, that's why they're connected. Okay.
We're just stuck.
I feel like I'm gonna need the ice cream sandwich after the Takis. Mm-mm.
I've had ice cream so much in the past. Every single day this week.
Listen, there are weeks.
It started on Wednesday and it is now Monday, and I've had ice cream every day.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of dessert every day.
I mean, did I have 4 Rice Krispies yesterday? Yes, I did.
And that's okay.
I agree.
I feel like
Some
the
pretzels?
oh yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna try something.
Are you gonna
do
put-
it. I know what you're gonna do. Oh, she's a genius.
I used to take my ice cream sandwiches and roll them in sprinkles. So like the outside would be covered.
Right.
So good. I love
Genius.
sprinkles.
Absolute genius.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. He agrees.
I think you want. Oh.
Oh, that's okay. Let's see. Good stuff?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You saw it here first. Take your chocolate pretzels, put it into your ice cream sandwich.
Top notch.
Fantastic. All right. We said blue. Now,
Yellow?
hold on.
No, green.
Green.
Another spicy.
Applesauce. Oh, that's right. I haven't had those either.
Oh, those are good. They're
I
not
love
hot.
I love kettle chips, period. So I'm gonna give you guys some applesauce. I know. I love them though. They're a great snack for on the go.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're very helpful for taming small people. All right.
Do we want to open these now?
I don't even know.
I feel like I'm getting
I'm overwhelmed.
lost
Yeah.
in the plethora.
Yes. It's a lot to get through. The whole episode has now turned into a food
A
critique.
mukbang. That's right. We'll keep the rest of them for the other episodes. We're filming today.
Cool.
Okay. So.
Okay. Okay. So, what are we starting with today in our mental health
Wow,
chat?
that was great timing.
I apologize.
Well, I think a lot of times when girls get together, we always snack, right? And another time that I always snack the most is, we don't really talk about this a lot in general, like in general public, but PMS.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so a lot of times people look at the physical aspects of PMS or like menstruation, but not really the mental components of it. And I think that's one of the hardest parts to overcome because you can't take a painkiller
Yeah.
to like cure your PMDD.
Mm-hmm.
But what are your guys' thoughts on PMS and mental health?
I don't know. I feel like it's just overwhelming, like when it happens, and especially since like girls, you just one day wake up and you have it for the rest of your life. You get your period, and then it's like this is just something very normal for you to have to experience, and it's like embarrassing at the same time because you just like it's not something you want to talk about to your friends or like family members like that, or at least that's how it was for me. It's like you're going through so many changes, and with PMS you get so many symptoms. It's worse for every person. So
I agree. And it's also like something you can't control. Like, not only one morning do you wake up and all of a sudden you have it, every month for the rest of your life, you wake up and suddenly everything makes you angry. Like, you bump into a wall and you're like, "Ugh!" Or like when you're already like upset and then like your jean
It hooks on
it
the
hooks
door?
onto the door and you're just like, Jesus. And those are like, honestly, for me, like when I'm PMSing, I really have to stop throughout the day and be like, God, I need you to take my hormones. Fix it, Jesus, because I can't do it. And it's so hard.
It's the worst. I think it's the worst when you just wake up one day and you're like really angry or really sad, and then a couple days later, then you get your period, and then you realize
That's what it was.
I'm not crazy.
Or you end up like crying at a commercial. There's this I don't know if you've seen the Liberty Mutual commercials with the emus. There's one where they're getting married. Yes, there's one where they're getting married, and there's like another emu that like when they say if anybody has anything to say, and he like squawks or whatever, and the guy goes, "Not now." I think the emu's name is like Liam or something. I don't know. And I just remember like, but what if Liam has something important to say? And it was the dumbest thing. And then a few days later, I was like,
Dude, I was driving to work one day, right? And I listen, like in the mornings when I'm driving, like, you know, I get my mindset right. I'm listening to like old school gospel.
yes.
This one song, I don't even remember what it was, but I guess it just hit. I was bawling for my 25-minute drive to work. As soon as I hit the first stop sign outside of my house, I was like, oh.
And it's just the
And
tears.
you can't stop it.
No.
You can't. I was like, I don't know how I pulled it together to walk into that building, but, ooh.
Do you have to wear a mask still at work? That helps.
So I don't wear any makeup, so like nothing's running.
Right. That works. See?
no, that's funny. It's like sometimes I just go in my room, and then I'm just like I look at all the stuff. Like if I put clothes on the floor and I just come home and then the emotions hit me, I'm like, I really have to clean this up right now. And I just start crying, and then I'm like, okay, I'm fine.
It's like, I'm fine afterwards.
It's like that meme with like the dog sitting amongst the fire.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
It is. And it's the smallest thing. Like, I remember one time I was making like an omelet for Rovan, and I couldn't get it to, it turned into scrambled eggs, basically, because I couldn't, flip the little thing. And I was just sobbing. I mean, like nose bubbles, everything, just sobbing in the kitchen. And Rovan comes in and he's like, what happened? I was like, I can't flip it. And he's like, okay. I'm sure it tastes fine. And I'm like, no, it's supposed to be an omelet. And he's like, it looks good. I'm like, no, it doesn't. That's all it took. An omelet broke me.
You scrambled with the eggs. You scrambled. But yeah, PMS is a really big deal.
Yes.
Like it really messes with your head.
It does.
And like as women, you're kind of supposed to like ignore that it's happening to you and just move on with the world. And a lot of people aren't supposed to know like, hey, I'm mentally struggling right now, but that's not me. That's just who I am right now.
Right.
And I think it also with the PMS like mental brain scramble, and then also like body image things and like the pressures of society and like men. I think just men in general.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Because they don't get it and they were never taught. Kevin's over there shaking his head at us. Listen,
It's girl talk.
exactly. Like a lot of guys don't get it because they don't go through it, but they also don't get talked to about it.
Yes. That's why I think this episode was really important.
Yes.
Because not only is it like important to bring it like to be aware of it, but also mental health.
Yes.
Like it's good to take a step back and realize like, hey, I'm not crazy. I'm just going through like a lot of hormonal things right now, and
Yeah.
I cannot physically control it.
And it is something normal, and it very much does affect your overall mental health. Because if, for example, you're not in a great place already, and then PMS hits,
You're even worse.
that's a downward spiral. That's it's hard to come back from.
Yeah.
And a lot of women and a lot of girls don't feel comfortable talking about that and expressing that, and they don't even know how to express that.
Yeah, so I feel like boys, they don't really get the whole PMS situation. Like, I feel like in my experience, anytime I have encountered a situation with a guy, they'll be like, they'll understand when they want to. And then on the other times, they'll be
That's
like,
the
you're
key.
dramatic about it, or like, I don't get how you're feeling this way.
I think that's the key. When they want to understand, they do. As I've had a lot of times, guys will like try to mansplain my symptoms to me.
Oh yeah.
It's like, dude, this is literally happening inside of my body. Like I can feel everything happening to me, and you're gonna tell me that I'm not.
Or
Like, I
when they try to hit you with the, oh, what are you talking about? Most women don't even feel it.
Dude. Or like, oh no, it's like it's not as bad as getting hit in our parts. Try doing it repeatedly 24/7 for like 5 to 7 days.
Yes.
And then you tell me if you can walk.
Listen. Mr. Mansplain over here, who was just gaslighting us 5 seconds ago, like, I don't know why it always comes to that, like, but I've never said that.
I didn't say you did, but the fact that you feel so pressed about it tells me otherwise.
You feel some type of way.
I'm just gonna drop that right there.
We're gonna let that one be.
Right?
But yeah, I definitely agree with you, Asha. Like, they understand when they want to, or it'll turn into like, well, why don't you just take a pill? Like, why don't you just take some Tylenol then? Well, why don't you just do this? And it's like, well, first of all, I'm crying over an omelet. There's nothing that's going to help take that away. There's nothing that's going to make me
Inject
feel
pure
better.
dopamine into my bloodstream.
Exactly. Unless you're hooking me up to some weird, like, I don't want it. And I still don't want it because it's probably going to be not effective.
Oh, have you guys ever? I mean, this one just enrages me. It's like when you're arguing about something and they'll be like, "Are you PMSing right now?"
Oh.
Every time.
Every time.
Oh. And then I was reading somewhere, it's like when women are on their period, your levels of testosterone are really high. Are you hiding your face? Oh,
I bet he's laughing over there.
Uh-huh.
that gets me so mad. And then I was reading, and they said that women's levels of testosterone are higher when they're on their period or PMSing.
Yes.
So are you not liking the fact that I'm becoming more like you?
Right. It's like, ooh, I wonder.
I'm sorry. This is getting really personal.
But that's the thing. I feel like that's the point. And I'm glad that we are talking about it because not a lot of, I feel like there aren't a lot of girls that can talk about it.
Yeah. And talking about it doesn't have to mean like the gross, gory, like bloody details. You know what I mean?
Right.
It can just be like my body is reacting to things in a way that I literally cannot control, and I would not be reacting otherwise.
Right. And then that changes and that goes into like how we feel. At least for me, it turns into, don't look at me. I look horrible. Like even before, like when we started, I was like, oh good, the baby's gonna cover up my belly. You know, and it's like things like that we don't think of, and we say things like that without even thinking because it's so like, I feel like it's so connected. Like all of those emotions and the way we look at ourselves, it's just.
Because I feel like once you throw body image into things, it kind of complicates it to another degree.
Yes.
Because body issue images are not just like you in your own head. It has to come from somewhere, whether it's the media, whether it's the people around you, whether it's like this book that you're reading that describes the main character in this way.
Yes.
Like there are so many different things that affect the way that you see yourself. And I love that now we're into that era of like body positivity and self-love and all those things. But growing up, it was not like that at all. Early 2000s, low-rise jeans.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about that. Oh my gosh, it's
Right?
horrible. And then especially with your family, because, for example, you eat too much, and they're like, "You're getting big." So then you don't eat, and they're like, "Why aren't you eating?" And I'm like, "You just told me I'm getting huge. What you mean?"
Right?
That happens all the time for me. It's like growing up, I was always pretty skinny, but then they'll be like, when they see me, they'll be like, "Oh, why are you so skinny?" And then I'll be eating, and then they'll be like, "Your cheeks are looking a little bigger," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Witched. No. Yeah, I never had that issue, which is like, I feel like we don't. I'm not trying to make it about me, but I feel like a lot of times you don't talk about like the skinny people that are like shamed for being skinny, because a lot of times people are like, "Oh, why don't you just eat more? Why don't you just eat unhealthy foods?" And I'm like, why would I risk trying to gain weight to clog up my arteries? Like I already snack a decent amount. I'm not gonna do more than I already do just because you think I need to gain weight. And then throwing body image, and then when you get into that age of like you're prepubescent versus when you start your period and your body starts to change and you start to get all these things you didn't have before, it's the wild ride.
Oh yeah.
That's why growing up I was always in like a baggy shirt
Yeah.
or like looser jeans because I didn't like, you just don't want to be perceived because
Yeah.
everyone always has something to say about it.
Yeah. And like for me, I was bigger. Like I was much bigger as when I was younger. So it was always like, well, oh, like, why are you eating so much? Why are you this? And then I was always a very chubby kid. So then when I started going through puberty and started going through all these changes, it became even, I feel like it became even more obvious.
Yeah.
And it was just more invitation for people without my consent.
Yeah.
It was just more conversation for people to be like, to my mom, because they wouldn't directly say it to me. They would say it to my mom and they'd be like, "Oh, well, you should dress her this way." And, "Oh, like you shouldn't let her wear that." Or, "Oh, like, especially like growing up like strictly Pentecostal, like, "Oh, like you shouldn't let her wear those types of skirts. Like, look at her," like things like that. And I'm talking about at 11 years old.
Yeah. I feel like people don't take into consideration the toll that it makes on you personally. So like, "Oh, I'm just telling you these things because you need to care about yourself more." Like, no, I care about myself enough, which is why I'm eating what I am. Like, I'm listening to my body. I'm eating as much as I should be eating. And it's like, I don't need to fit into this image of what you think I need to look like.
Exactly.
Like, I am made in his likeness and image. I am like, what is it? Beautifully and fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
Like, I am already the person that he's created me to be. Why is it that you think otherwise of me?
Yeah.
And I feel like that also like brings up like a comparison game. Like you want to look like that person because that's society's image of, you know, pretty or nice body image, and like who decides that? It's like,
And then it pits us against each other. Because then, for example, you see like the jokes that people make when you see like a thinner person at the gym and they'll be like, "Oh, why are you here? You're already done." You don't know why I'm here. Maybe I'm trying to build muscle. Like maybe I'm trying to just do some strength training because I'm trying to do something. Like that's
Maybe I just want to get my body moving.
exactly.
Like, there's so many different reasons as to why people do things. It's not like, I don't get why people feel so comfortable making comments about other people's bodies. Or like even in church, right? Sometimes if I'll wear like a more form-fitting outfit, someone will always come up to me and just like, boop, put their hand on my waist. I'm like, why is it that you think this is okay?
No. You got to start like,
And it's like, you're a woman, right? So it's not looked at as like a certain way. But if you were a man, it would be. What is the difference?
So it's like if you like, would I be able to walk up to like one of the guys in skinny jeans and be like,
And just like,
that's
No.
really weird.
I don't understand why people are so comfortable with other people's bodies. It just, it grinds my gears. But that also makes me uncomfortable when I do wear an outfit that is closer, and I might feel really good about myself. But then I think, well, if I go this certain place, people are going to say this, people are going to do this. So then I don't dress in a way that's flattering to me. And then you get into this spiral of like becoming like insecure and like self-conscious, and like you're just not comfortable in the body that you have.
Also, I feel like with girls, I've seen this most with girls, is like they'll be like, if they're like a different body type and they're maybe insecure about the way that they feel, if someone else looks differently, they'll be like, oh, but I don't get it, like you're skinny, so what's your problem?
All the time.
And it's like everybody has their own insecurity. Like I feel like nobody's harder on themselves than you are personally
Yeah.
yourself. So like someone may not see something that you will see for yourself.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
And then boys. Do you want to throw boys into the equation, or is it already complicated as it is?
Ooh, boys.
Boys.
Oh God.
Ugh. They're not all.
No, they're it's not
Yeah.
all men,
Right.
Yeah.
but a lot of them.
It just makes things a lot. I feel like a lot of times well intentioned.
Wrong execution.
Exactly.
I think a lot of times, like we were talking about it before, guys, when they want to understand, they do. Like when they're actively trying, it's not hard to like understand. But when you're trying to understand just so you can tell it back to me in a way that makes me think that you think you know what you're talking about, that's different. And I feel like the societal pressures of like, oh, you have to have a boyfriend, you have to find a husband, da da da. It's like it really takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
And I can't speak for like the men's experience into like the dating world and stuff. I can only really speak for my own.
Yeah.
But like the like this, I don't want to say the stigma,
But the
but I guess
expectation.
the expectation of you need to look a certain way so you can find a man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
Because like I used to be a tomboy, right? Like really big tomboy, loose jeans, baggy shirts, sneakers, and I would always get told like, "Oh, you need to look more like a girl," and I was like, "I am a girl, and this is how I would like to dress. I don't understand where the disconnect is."
Right.
And it's like, "But you need to look like a girl. Like, what does a girl look like?" Because growing up, I was also very skinny. There was not much shape to me. So even if I wore baggy clothes or fitted clothes, it's just right. There's nothing there.
It's like I don't understand what difference you're trying to make
Exactly. Like, are you just saying that I need to show my body more? Is that what it is?
to then
Because
get shamed.
Exactly.
For
Because then
showing
if I
more.
show more skin, you're like, you need to cover up, or no one's gonna like find you attractive. You're showing it out, and it's like, so where is the medium? Where is the
Yeah.
happy medium? And I think I'm still trying to find it, to be honest. Sometimes.
I think that that's something that's really hard to find. And I think that on the boys' side, I feel like it's more acceptable for them, like not to be married or not to have a girlfriend. Because even me, like I'm trying to do some math here. I'm going to be 31. I got married in 2019. So I was 28,
8, 9?
turning 29. I don't know. But I remember after turning 23, like very distinctly everybody being like, so when are you getting married?
It's like the flip. Just
And like little digs of like, oh, I can't wait to go to your wedding. When is that going to be? And I'm like, when God says so. And just
God
walk
says so.
away.
I think for guys that for the guys that I've seen, that conversation doesn't come up until like later 20s, closer to 30.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Why do I need to get married young, but he doesn't?
Right. Which, because then that's really creepy. It's like, so are you telling me I need to marry like a 32-year-old?
Right?
That's weird.
I'm 19.
It's just not okay.
Yeah, no.
What do you think, Asha?
I just had so many thoughts run through my head, and now I
They're
can't.
just right now.
Yeah.
I think I'm glad I haven't reached that phase where everyone's like, "Oh, when are you getting married? When are you getting married?" Because I don't even have an answer.
Oh,
It's like
I feel like there's like, I know we talked about comparison already, but if someone, like, I know my friends, like, if they're dating, my mom would be like, so they're dating.
why aren't you?
And I'm like, oh, okay. But like for a long time, it was like, they're like, no, you're not allowed to date. You like, you shouldn't focus on boys, just like school. And it's like, when did that transition happen
Right?
to like, oh, hello, it's time for you to like find a guy.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't magically snap.
Yeah.
I wish I could, but
Right.
I can't.
It's like, because growing up, you're supposed to be single until you're not, right? And so now my mom will try to ask me, like, "Oh, are you seeing anyone?" It's like, ew, mom, don't talk about boys. Ew.
It turns into this whole big thing, and it's like I forget who was this comedian that I was watching, and he was like, you know, age from like 0 to 30, it's like no boys, and then it's like you hit 30 and it's like, why aren't you married yet?
Yeah.
And it's like what would you like me to do? Like there's only so long. Or they wonder like, oh, like, well, why is it so hard for you to talk to
Yeah.
boys? And I'm like, you wouldn't let me.
Exactly. Or like, so like I said before, I was a tomboy growing up, so a lot of my friends in like school and college were guys. So I'd always be hanging out with guys, and I'm like, so are you seeing them? Like, are you dating? I was like, no, we're just friends. She's like, but you're hanging out like one-on-one. I was like, yeah, like friends.
Yeah.
I was like, friends do that.
That's a thing.
Yeah. For not, and then I feel like she would think I'm hiding it from her, but I'm genuinely we're just friends.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest, because then when you're in college, you're like, okay, now you can start dating people or whatever. But it's like, can I?
It's like, do I even have the
Do I have
mental
your permission?
ability
Oh.
like at this point?
Right?
It's
And
hard.
I think that's kind of why I had like strictly friend zoned a lot of people, because like I'm not allowed to date. You know, even if I was, I didn't think I was.
Yeah.
You didn't do it on the low key?
Not really.
It's hard, and it gets.
Yeah.
I feel like especially like, at least for me, like as a Christian, like I was always told, like if you're gonna date somebody, it's to be married, and you have to get married after a certain point, and you have, and it's like, okay, I'm 15. We are not in biblical times. I still have, like, I have midterms next week. What do you mean? And it's just like this constant expectation. And even I feel like that it's the expectation that guys don't have put on them as much, because I have seen it happen. But it's not, it's an expectation that's put more on girls, I feel.
I think once you throw it all in together, it's very easy to lose sight of who you are as a person and who you are in like God's eyes.
Yeah.
Because once you think like, okay, my body, I'm not in shape. I'm not the body that everyone says that I need to be. 3 weeks out of the 4 weeks of a month, my brain is like going crazy.
Haywire. Yeah.
Like I'm angry and I'm sad and I'm happy all at the same time.
Yep.
And then I need to dress a certain way so that I can find a man, so that a man can find me appealing. It's like, who am I among like this jumble of things people are telling me to be?
Yes.
How do you find yourself? How do you ground yourself into like who you are meant to be and who you're supposed to be?
I think for me, it took a really long, like me digging deep into my relationship with God. It took me going through a lot and just finally reading my Bible. And, you know, we said before, like the word says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and just really taking, you know, I can do all things through Christ. Just taking all of those things that for a long time I thought were honestly just like cliches that people would just say to you so they could have something nice to say because you were going through a hard time. But like for me, it really took me digging into my relationship with God.
Yeah.
And reading the word and studying the word, and just leaving it in his hands and saying like, you know what, God, like I can't do it anymore. I really can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And if you don't take the wheel right now, like, I don't know where I'm going to go,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not going to be to you.
I think it's so easy to get lost in what the world is and what they're telling you that you need to be. So you kind of have to turn, like, there's nowhere else for you to turn. And I know a lot of people say, oh, just cast your cares unto the Lord, for he cares for you. And it's like, that's very much easy when there's not like 10,000 people in my face telling me that, no, you need to do this, this, and this. And you need to look this way and act this way and like pretend to be this way, regardless of what's happening inside of your body. And I think it's all about being intentional with who you are and who you are trying to become. Because yeah, I can sit and read the Bible and I can sit and talk to someone about my problems. But if I'm not being intentional, like you said, and like taking time out to actually read it and decipher what God is trying to tell me and who he is building me to be, then I'm just reading a book.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like nobody is ever gonna feel you like how God feels you. I mean, you can get compliments by anybody you want, like even the people that you do want compliments from, and you'll forget it in 2.5 seconds because you're not happy with yourself.
Yeah.
And it takes, like as you said, like building your relationship with God. And one thing that I've like noticed is like, because we are kind of stubborn in our nature, we will try and control a situation and try and do it our way until we hit rock bottom, and we know that the only person who's there to save us is God, and that's when you'll learn that lesson that you
Yeah.
need to.
Like, I had a friend growing up who she was the type of person that was always kind of striving after what other people had. Like, if she wanted it or she thought that they were, like, you know, succeeding with it, she would just do that instead of kind of trying to find who she was. And then after we hit, like, your teenage years when you're, like, in college and stuff, she just didn't know who she was. Like, she was just who everyone, like, she was just little bits of everyone else around her. She wasn't, like, her own person. And I think once you get to that point, it's very like you're just discouraged. She's like, I'm 20 something years old now. Who am I outside of everyone else?
Yeah.
And it's at that point, it's either if you don't turn to God, you're gonna turn to the world.
Yeah.
And it's a tough line to walk because you can very easily slip off the deep end.
Yeah. And it's something that doesn't, like we've said it multiple times, it doesn't get talked about because, you know, we can have our relationship with God and it's still going to be hard.
Yeah.
So when we don't have God, it's infinitely more difficult. And like you said, once you slide off that deep end, it's really hard to come back from.
Do you know what? I think it's easier to slide off the deep end because you think everything is okay. Because you're just kind of like putting on this facade of like looking cute and like getting all the boys or whatever. But then once you're like alone with your thoughts and you're really thinking about your actions, it's like who am I outside of these boys? Who am I outside of like the clothes that I'm wearing? Because right now I could just pass as like a rando on Instagram and no one would even know the difference. But who am I to myself and to God? Because I feel like at the end of the day, that's what really matters.
Good. Wow, that got deep real
It really-
fast. But I
fell off
think
the good deep end.
I think we did, and I
Yeah.
think that especially growing up for me, like mental health wasn't a thing.
Not at all.
It was, and obviously we know it's always been a thing. It's
Yeah.
always been around, but it wasn't something that was talked about. It was like, you're sad, oh, suck it up. Like, go
Yeah.
take a bath. Like, go, like,
Do something else.
do something.
I think now that you say that, I think a lot of times we get lost in the to-do list of what it is that we need to accomplish.
Yes.
That we don't really take a second back to think like, why am I forcing myself to do all of these things? Like, why can I not just sit and be still? And so growing up, my mom used to have me and my sister just like sit just for like 5 minutes. She'd be like, just sit, no TV, no books. And this is before we had phones. She's like, just sit. And I was like, I can't. I got to do something. I got to do something. I got to move. She's like, no, don't move. Like, just sit in your seat. I was like, now that you tell me I can't, I really want to.
Yeah.
But now looking back, you really see the value in that, like, just being able to sit with your thoughts and just think.
And be still.
Yeah.
And it says in the word, you know, like, be still and know, that I am God. And that's, again, like one of the hardest things. I think it's one of the hardest things for us to do. Like for me, I never had that. And it's now as an adult that I'm learning literally to be still without a phone, without anything.
Mhm.
Just like, okay.
I saw this thing on TikTok and it was like someone posted when your family thinks you're lazy, but they don't understand that you're going through depression.
Yes.
And that
I
just
saw
it
that.
got me. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, like I really feel
Mhm.
that because like there are moments where I'm like, oh, I should be doing something. Like I shouldn't be sitting here, but it's like you just can't. Like you
Yeah.
just need that moment to yourself.
That's called executive dysfunction.
Yeah.
It is a thing, my guys,
is. It's
my
really-
girls.
it's really-
It's a really real thing. It's like I have to do the thing. I know I have to do the thing. I need to get up and do the thing because my brain is killing me because I'm not doing the thing.
it, yeah.
But I physically cannot.
Mhm.
And
I
it's
think-
so hard.
I think knowing that you have to do the thing but you physically can't is worse than knowing that you have to do the thing and you just don't want to do it. Because a lot of people see it as like, oh, she knows she has to do these things. She just doesn't want to do it. And it's like, no, I cannot bring myself to leave the spot that I'm in right now. And I cannot do, it's not like I can't just do this one thing, but I cannot do anything. I have no energy in my body, no like willpower. And I think that's why I kind of pushed for us to have like the mental health awareness month, because a lot of times it's like I physically cannot do things. And we don't talk about that. And people just think like, oh, she just had an off day. She's just being lazy. And it's like, no. Like I physically cannot bring myself to remove myself from the situation.
And I think it doesn't change. Like even now, like I'm a mom, like, and even now there are days where I physically can't, where I will just leave the TV on all day. Coco Melon is playing 24/7 so that they are just watching TV and entertained and engaged in something because I physically can't. I can't do it. And that's something I feel like a lot of times then gets looked at as like, oh, like she's a terrible mother. Like, look at what she's doing. She's just
The
shoving
mom
her
shame
kids.
is really real.
Yes.
So bad. I've seen it so many times, and I'm like, well, how can you like say that
Yeah.
about a mom? Like, they're trying so hard. Like when she walked in, I was like, I had to carry that, and I was like, oh my god, like, is this mom life? And she's like, just the little
Just
part.
a sliver. That she's referring to, by the way, is a little bouncer. But yeah, and people don't realize like even sometimes my family, they'll be like, well, why don't you just come visit us? And I'm like, with two small children under
Yeah.
2, where I have to carry a giant diaper bag with 2 lunch bags, plus a stroller, plus a carrier, because when you get on the bus at Port Authority, a lot of drivers force you to close the stroller. So I have to have then the stroller, one strapped to my chest, another one in this arm with like 3 bags and a stroller. That's how you want me to come visit you? Okay.
I feel like that prep alone is like, no, thank you. If you want to see me, you know my address.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you drive.
And no matter what, like not just mom shaming, it's like what Asha said before, like we shame each other. We, instead of, like we said before, instead of being like, I'm sorry that you're struggling, it turns into what do you mean you have body issues? You're skinny. Or what do you mean you have body issues? I wish I had a body like yours.
Dude, when people say that, because like, okay, so I've always been skinny, I grew up and then, your body changes and I maintained being skinny. But every time I was like, oh, I wish I had your body, or I wish I looked like this. And it's like, what? Like I didn't choose to be this way. And yet you're like making all of these comments about me like I had any say in the matter.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I think you're gorgeous. But the fact that I'm skinny negates the fact that I can have an opinion on you because you think I look better. And I hate talking about it because then I feel like I'm being like cocky, but it's like, that's the fact of the matter.
Yeah, no, it's a very factual thing, but I feel like we've also been taught that. Along with no, there's no such thing as mental health. There's no such, like, you're just sad, you're just this, you're just that, you're just that. No. So I think it's really good that we're talking about this all encompassing.
I think that's a good place to end it for tonight.
I think so.
Yeah. Don't make the women in your life feel smaller because of the things they can't explain.
Please.
Please.
All right.
Have a good night. make good decisions. Or good morning. I say that every time. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you.